Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 604. Another solo episode with me, Bryan Cohen from Best Page Forward. Really excited to chat with you today. Don't worry, we're going to have co-hosts again. I didn't scare everybody off, I promise. I just wanted an opportunity to kind of check in with you. I mean, we barely even got the chance to celebrate episode 600. I mean, can you imagine? 604 weeks ago, me and Jim Kukral started this show, and it has been running for 11 years, and so much has happened since that time. We've now had multiple iterations of the show with Claire, and now with these rotating co-hosts. We have had multiple life events happen. I got Rocket the Cat. Rocket the Cat still over here. If you watch the video, you'll see. And I just moved over to show her. We obviously, had a kid, and Riley's doing great. She is 8, and I'm recording this on Halloween, and we're getting excited, getting ready to go out as some K-pop Demon Hunters characters. And I mean, so much has happened in the publishing industry in that time. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. It still remains that if you focus in on a book or a genre that you love, that there is a known sales history for that genre, and you follow your heart, and you follow the market trends, and you find a marketing technique that kind of fits this trifecta of you like doing it, you're naturally talented at it, and it does in fact help sell books, lots of good things are going to happen. You do not need to take on every single thing in the publishing industry. You do not need to take on every single marketing tactic, every single marketing technique. That is going to be to your detriment to try to do too much at once. Less but better is more. Less is more. You are going to have more mileage from doing fewer things in a way that is more aligned with your heart, more aligned with your talents. And, you need to be intuitive about this. You need to kind of get a sense. You have 3 marketing things you could do. Which one feels the best? Because that is probably the thing that if you put in the time, you put in the effort over the years, you are going to get much better at it. Because what you like doing and what you're naturally talented at is a lot more likely to succeed. I'm very excited because I'm recording this the day before we plan on moving back to our house, a little less than 4 months after the flood from Tropical Storm Chantal. We're very excited to be back in our space, and it's still something we're battling with, insurance and loans and all of that stuff, but I'm so happy that in the midst of all of it, I get to come here, I get to talk to you for the 604th consecutive week. Coming up in November, and so this is probably going to be announced before before we even post this episode. I'm doing a new course, 7-figure nonfiction business blueprint. And so I'd been dragging my heels. This is a bonus that I was recording for our nonfiction Groundbreakers students, our students who are getting 6 months or more of coaching as part of our Groundbreakers program. And this was a bonus I had promised them. I said, look, why don't I soup it up a little bit? I'm gonna record multiple sessions live in November and December talking about how I built this company up, how I built Best Page Forward up from the beginning, where I launched the Best Page Forward book description business here on the podcast years and years ago, back in 2016. And when I launched that, I had no idea that it would become a company that last year made 7 figures. This year is going to be, 50% more than last year. It's amazing. And I have not yet really sat down and shared the ins and outs of how I did it and how the team did it and how we got to this point. And so that is going to be in the Seven Figure Nonfiction Business Blueprint. It is going to be available starting in that first week of November to be purchased. And then I'm going to be recording a lot of it live. And the parts I'm not recording live, my team is actually going to record some videos of what they do behind the scenes of a seven-figure business, setting up courses, setting up the podcast, setting up coaching and scheduling, and all this important stuff that does go into a bigger company, and even the hiring. We are going to put that all in video format. I'm going to record live, which means if you're there, you can ask me questions. That's the Seven Figure Nonfiction Business Blueprint coming your way this month. So if you're interested in it, just shoot us an email and say nonfiction, and we'll know what you're talking about. So let's go into the previous week's question. What do you want to get out of publishing? Susan Tilgman Hawthorne said, I always loved to read and wanted to write stories others would fall in love with. I love that intention. Karen Heenan said, I would continue to write whether or not I was published. But if I am published, there needs to be enough money coming from the books to make it worth my while. And that has happened, but it's not a fast process. It's never going to be as consistent as a 9-to-5 salary, which is something else to get used to. Karen Heenan, former amazing Pathfinder student. I loved seeing your growth. I loved seeing your royalties go up. I loved seeing your covers excel. I loved getting the opportunity to work with you. So thank you, Karen. That's a great share. And Albie Belazo Blake said happiness and community, but it helps if there's enough royalties coming in to be a little more than self-sustaining. And I think we can get there. Absolutely. So, top story of the week. Hold the presses. Miserable marketing. For most authors, book marketing feels harder than writing. Or so says Colleen Story, writing for JaneFriedman.com. Quote, when I'm trying to market my work, it feels uncomfortable and difficult, and I often come away from it frustrated and discouraged. And worse, like many authors, Story puts it off altogether, procrastinating the very tasks that will put her books in front of her readers. Quote, there are a lot of reasons we struggle with this part of the process, says Story. We know how to create worlds, shape characters, and evoke feeling. But writing an Instagram caption, setting up a newsletter funnel, or figuring out how to promote ourselves, that's not what we trained for, end quote. We might know what works in a book, but not necessarily what sells one. Putting ourselves out there can stir up fears like looking silly, stupid, or too salesy. Rather than risk it, we procrastinate, but it doesn't have to be that way. Quote, if you've been avoiding book promotion, but you're not sure why, watch for the emotional reflex behind the delay. Procrastination wears different masks, but it always has a message, end quote. Are you constantly tweaking your marketing messages but never posting them? That could be a fear of judgment or rejection. Do you simply resent having to market so you never do it? This could be you rebelling against rules you don't like. Systems and habits only work for so long when there's an underlying emotion that's getting in your way. Ooh, can I repeat that one? Systems and habits only work for so long when there's an underlying emotion that's getting in your way. Quote, the good news is, once you know your pattern, you can build a rhythm that's sustainable, says Story. Notice the next moment you feel the urge to delay a marketing task. Then instead of pushing it away, ask yourself, what emotion is my brain trying to protect me from? That small moment of awareness is where the real change begins. Let's dive into this one, y'all. I have a lot of feelings about this. So I agree. So many of us are procrastinating. Or some way, shape, or form, we're putting off the things we're supposed to be doing. But let's question the whole thing. Let's question the whole dang thing. What are we supposed to be doing? What should we be doing? What are the rules tell us to do? There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of courses. There's a lot of things out there. Some courses say you got to do this, this, and this. And then another course says, no, don't listen to that guy. Don't listen to that girl. Do this, this, and this. And it makes it difficult to take action because there's so much out there. There's so many ideas. There are so many things that we are told to do. And there is nothing that we have to do. I think I first saw this concept explained by Becca Syme over at the self-publishing live event we had in October of last year. I think it was right around this time. And so here's the thing. She said out at this event, there's nothing you have to do because anything else could be done by someone else in this process. So that means there's nothing really that you have to do. And that gives us choice. And that means we have agency over this situation. If there's something you absolutely don't want to do, you can either farm it out or not do it. You can farm it out. You can hand it off. You can barter with someone. You do something for them. They do something for you, whatever. You can farm it out, or you could not do it. There are authors out there who do no marketing, who make book sales, either because the books sell themselves or because they have hired out all of the marketing. We work with a few of those people in our author ad agency. They just hire everything out because all they want to do is write the books. But there's great points in here about the fear and about the emotion. There are so many emotions that come up. There are things that we want to do, things that in our heart we want to do. We like, we're good at them, and they do sell books, but we get in the way. And I've definitely gotten in my own way from a fear of looking like I'm too salesy, from a fear of being more salesy, looking like I'm a bad person. And there have been things that I've done in my author career. Earlier in my career, there were things that, hey, no one really knew what was the right thing and what was something that wasn't as liked in the marketing. And so we were trying a lot of things. A lot of people today that are doing incredible stuff. Back in the day, there might have been some shady things. There might have been some gray hat things. And I absolutely own up to there were some gray hat things back in 2017, 2018 that, I would not do today because I didn't really know that this thing or that thing wasn't aligned with the way you were supposed to do it. But that colored my existence the rest of the time. That made it so now I was afraid to step out of line. Now I was afraid to break the rules. Now I was afraid to try things. Now I was afraid to put myself out there. And so I held back and I didn't do as much and I didn't put myself out there as much. And now I realize that's all a load of crap. None of it matters. Some person in a Facebook group saying, I don't like Bryan, does not matter, especially if it is going to keep me from reaching you, if it is going to keep me from connecting with you, if it's going to stop me from making sure that I can help you grow. That is the big thing. That is the big thing. And you may run into the same things where you are worried about growing because maybe someone is going to say bad things about you. You might be worried about following the rules, and the rules, you might say, no, I've got to rebel against the rules. As a rule, I rebel against rules. And it's okay to question the feelings. And Amanda Francis, my mentor, says you want to be the gentle observer of your thoughts instead of being mad at yourself or whatever with yourself over a feeling. You can say, that's interesting. And I love that. I love the idea of being gentle with yourself and really thinking through these thoughts and feelings that you have. So, hot potatoes of wisdom. Is there anything marketing related that you used to procrastinate, but you found a way through it right here and now? I make the declaration to you. I'm going to be more of myself out there. I am going to go live more often. I used to put this off, but no longer. No longer. So that's the thing I used to procrastinate on that I'm throwing out the window. Because if some, maybe instead of one joker in a Facebook group saying something bad about me, now it'll be 10 jokers in a Facebook group saying something bad about me. And I will live with those consequences if it allows me to reach 10 times as many authors and help 10 times as many authors. What is your best tip to manage marketing you don't like to do? Look, I make enough money now. The company's in the seven figures. We bring home a good amount of money that then we pay our staff very fairly with. We intend to pay our staff as fairly as possible with. And there are things I don't like to do in the marketing. I hand them off now. But if you are not in the position to hand them off, bartering is a good opportunity. Maybe you do something for someone who's good at something. Bartering is doable. Bartering is free. Bartering just costs time. So I'm a big fan of, if you don't have the money for it, barter your way through it. But if there is marketing that you don't like to do, I recommend you put it in the 20% box. You spend 80% of the time doing things that you love and that bring you joy and that pull you forward and get you excited about this. And you spend the other 20% doing some of the things you don't like doing as much. And you give yourself a lot of rewards for those. You do them while you're watching TV. You do them while you're having fun. You do them, you have some chocolate after, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be chocolate. You're not a chocolate fan. It could be like a fruity gummy of some kind. But doing something, anything that you don't like to do is hard. And so if it has to get done, putting it in that 20% bucket. We are going into the lightning round. Pachoo, pachoo, pachoo. How do I sell more books when I have less time during the holiday season? Look, there are fewer hours to go around. I know that we're going to be out and about for Thanksgiving, and I know that when it comes to Christmas and New Year's, people are going on trips, people are doing holiday things. How do I sell more books when I have less time? Well, in general, you want to stop doing the things that aren't working and focus most of your time on the things that are working. Now, for that, you have to figure out, well, what are the things? Of course. So you do have to do a little bit of a research understanding of what it is you are doing and how it is helping you. But if you stop doing all the junk that isn't working, you stop trying to learn 200 new things, and you focus pretty much all your time, at least 80% of your time, on doing the things that do work, you will likely sell more books in less time. Now, here's the other thing. I'm a little bit woo-woo. I've told you guys about this plenty of times. But if you put it out into the world that, hey, I wanna sell more books and spend less time doing it, and you keep putting that out there, you keep putting that out there, you keep putting that out there, an idea might come to you, or several ideas might come to you, and you write those ideas down and you determine, would I enjoy doing these? And if the answer is yes, maybe you do those things that come from that inspired idea from putting it out into the world that, hey, I want to sell more books in less time. I know that for me during the holiday season, because I'm going to be in and out of the office, I'm going to put out the intention. I want to keep my sales the same or grow them while working fewer days at the office. That is something I'm putting out into the universe. Another question here in the lightning round. I took a course and it told me I had to do things a certain way. And then I took another course that said the opposite. Which way is right? Y'all, we're all making this up. I have ideas. Other people in the space have ideas. No one's idea is the gospel truth. No one's idea is 100% proven. And if it is proven, it's proven for them. And it's proven for people who think and act like that course creator. So, if someone, I have my Amazon ad courses, someone has an Amazon ad course that says the exact opposite. How do we know which way is right? We try one way, we try another way. Which way seems to work better for you and your books? That's the way. Or which way feels better for your heart? That's the way. I think that the problem is some of us in this world, and I know there are different Enneagram types, and I know there are different strengths that want to have a set of rules to follow. But there are no hard and fast rules in publishing. And so as a result, it's difficult because we're like, no, I want the rules, but there are no locked down rules. So Neither way is necessarily right, but if you try both and one works better, do the one that works better. The way my books used to sell seems like it completely changed. Did I screw something up? No, not necessarily. I think that we do have a lot of agency in our own author career, of course, but you need to ask yourself, did I stop doing something that was working? I have an author who has done amazing work in the author world, has sold hundreds of thousands of books. And when she looked at her sales, they were dropping and she didn't know why. And so she pulled back from some of the marketing she was doing and spent less money, and her sales dropped. And she pulled back more, and her sales kept dropping till they were about half of where they were. And then we looked at things together, and it turned out the pulling back was what caused the sales to go down. So when she pushed back in, continued to market, went back into marketing, spent more money on the ads, and got the sales way up. And so sometimes it's from the outside, we hear all these people saying, this has changed, this is bad, this no longer works. And then we hear that, we get that input, and we say, oh my gosh, it must be true. And then we step back. But the problem is that fear mongering from around the internet is not always true. It's rarely fully true because there are no real rules. So it's unlikely that you specifically did something just of your own accord. You might have done something from hearing it about on the internet. So it's okay to go back to basics, look at the dollars and cents, and see what it is that you were doing previously that may have had a positive impact, and go back to more of the positive impact. And there are things in the world we have no control over. Look, more people were buying books at the beginning of the pandemic. That's just how it was. And so there are some things in the world we just don't have control over. But we can control some things, and we can control our actions. So it's good to focus on our circle of control, what we actually can do something about. Question here is, I used to love writing, and now it's my career, and the love isn't there as much. What should I do? More of what you love. More of the things that make your heart sing. And that is both inside your author business and outside your author business. You may need more creative outlets. That is okay to have more time painting and walking and creating things that you aren't going to sell. That is totally fine. You can put more of that into your life. But then in your business, try to do more of what you love. And if it's not something you love, outsource it, put it in the 20% box, or let it go. Last question is, which expert should I listen to so I can sell more books in 2026? Well, one of the reasons we have been having just a variety of amazing 6- and 7-figure authors on the Sell More Books show is so that we had some experts that you could at least take the temperature of. Do I connect up with what this person is saying? And the answer is not always going to be yes. But we wanted to bring in a variety of voices for you to hear, and we're going to keep doing that, of course. But you say, Bryan, but I want it to be easy. Who knows all the secrets? Who knows how it's going to work? Who knows? You. The expert you need to listen to so you can sell more books in 2026 is you. You need to tune out the noise. You need to throw out these ideas that someone is brilliant enough to know your inner heart better than you do. You need to throw that out, and you need to really get in touch with you. What do you want to do? What do you think the market is telling? You want to do the research, you want to do the basics, you want to do the smart stuff of seeing where it seems like things are going. But then you look at yourself, you look at your brain, you look at your heart, and you put that out there. Because look, we we have the ability to make this creative career a success and still have it be creative and still have it be something that we're enjoying and still have it be something that we just get a lot of spiritual, we get a lot of emotional, we get a lot of good things that aren't even related to the money out of. And so the expert you should listen to most to sell more books in 2026 is you. Let's have a question of the week. What do you want from your author business? What do you want from your author career? What would fulfill you? That I know is a deeper level question, but I'm just very, very interested to see what you guys say. You can answer that in the Sell More Book Show Facebook group or the Sell More Book Show website, sellmorebookshow.com. Y'all, those of you who have been here and listening for 11 plus years, I've loved getting to talk to you. I'll be back again next week. Remember, if you are a nonfiction author and you're interested in that 7-figure nonfiction business blueprint, stay tuned. We'll have a link. We'll make sure that's out there. But I hope you have an amazing, amazing, amazing rest of your day. And we will talk soon, okay? Have a great week of book selling, of course, as well. And we will talk to you next week for episode 605. Bye, everybody.